WrestlingWithSmarks.com. The following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Coming to the microphone, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, he is your host and magnanimous voice of the internet wrestling community. Please welcome Hollywood Cleveland.
I want to take this time and welcome everyone to a new episode of the Wrestling With Smarks Podcast. I am your host, the magnanimous voice of the internet wrestling community, Hollywood Cleveland. Put your hands together for me. The greatest backyard wrestling you've ever heard of, back with episode 2 of the Wrestling With Smarks Podcast. I hope you all have enjoyed your Memorial Day holiday today as we take the time to remember the fallen soldiers who put their life on the line for the good old red, white, and blue for the United States of America. And if you're not from this country, then it's alright if you want to show some respect as well. Going to get right in the show today, right into the podcast. Don't want to waste everyone's time because I'm excited with this first piece of news. We're going to get right into the wrestling news and rumors. The first piece of news I'm so excited to let everyone know about. It looks like everyone's favorite must-see WWE champion, former WWE champion, The Miz, is soon to be returning to a WWE ring near you. According to WrestleZone.com, he had made his way to the final leg of the European tour when the WWE was overseas. So it looks like he's done shooting the Marine 4, and he's going to be making his way to come back. And the word on the street is that they could possibly be trying to make him and the Ric Flair angle work again, which I think it has a lot of potential to do a lot of good for The Miz, especially if, they let The Miz be his true bad guy self. I don't know why The Miz decided he wanted to suck up to the fans in the WWE universe, but he just needs to go back to being the awesome one, the one who doesn't care, and the one who does what needs to be done to get the gold around his waist. The Miz. Also in news, it looks like TNA is giving some thought to bringing back the 6-sided ring. My thoughts on it is who cares, really. 6 sides, 4 sides, 10 sides. The TV product sucks. So until they fix that, it doesn't matter how many sides it is. No one's still going to give a crap. Okay. What else we got going on here? Looks like Total Divas is going to be back for a 3rd season. Next Sunday is going to be the second part of the season finale. They dragged out the season finale from 1 hour to 2 hours for some reason. They teased the whole Nikki not letting John Cena know that she was married 10 years ago or whatever to some cat she went to high school with. A whole bunch of nonsense and shenanigans. And so anyway, they're supposed to reach a conclusion to that next week. They already spoiled it. Nikki's brother basically tells Cena, and so I guess we're going to see how he reacts when they finally have the big conversation. I'm guessing that he's probably going to DTB, and that means dump that broad. All right. And it's a couple more headlines. I'm going to throw them on the website at wrestlingwithsmarks.com. Last thing I want to get to, I won't be able to get to all of them, but this one I thought was particularly interesting. I found on wrestlingrumors.net, and that was Daniel Bryan was very close to being Buddy Peacock. Now, for those of you who are not, for those of you familiar with some of the backstage stuff with WWE and pro wrestling in general, the promoters, when possible, they like to try to give the wrestlers a name that they can copyright or trademark or whatever, so that they can hold on to the rights to it and the wrestler can't take their name and make money with it. So instead of allowing him to wrestle under his real name, which is Bryan Danielson, what one of the ones that was pitched to him, and apparently, according, again, this is to wrestlingrumors.net, Daniel Bryan was feeling that could have been an option for him. And yeah, that would have sucked pretty hard. So, I think he did good with I think he actually credits Arn Anderson to helping him come up with Daniel Bryan, and this is another reason why they don't make him like Double A anymore. One of the best in the business. All right, so we're going to get to the Monday Night Raw commentary, the Monday Night Raw recap. I'm recording this Monday night, so Raw just went off. So, I'm still fresh in the ambiance. It was almost like I was at the University of Tennessee for a Monday Night Raw tonight. The show started off with a tribute, a tribute and a nod to Memorial Day. The WWE had their vignette playing and stuff, and it was good stuff. And after that, the Killjoys had to come out. If you don't know who the Killjoys are, that's Stephanie McMahon and her husband Triple H. They come out and excuse me. They basically say Daniel Bryan needs to surrender the title. He needs to do the right thing, and they didn't want to be the ones to say they told us so, but he's a B+ player with a B+ body, and he couldn't hold up to the being a A+ player and this, that, and the other. So they're talking about that, and they're also hyping a contract signing between Evolution and The Shield later on in the evening. So after that, they called out Brad Maddox. Now, if you listened to the show last week, during Raw, after Triple H had banned everybody from ringside, Seth Rollins, I mentioned, was able to announce his friends for guest commentary. Well, I had wondered if had Seth that got a job with the HR department or something, or how he was able to make that come about. Well, apparently the Shield had grabbed Brad Maddox and they took him to the side or whatever. They beat him down, and they basically told him, what was going to happen if he didn't let them come out there, and so he did. And it looks like that was the bad decision, because Triple H and Stephanie, they called him out there. And after that, Kane's music hits. Now, it wasn't Kane in his work outfit. It was Kane in his Big Red Machine outfit. And, you already know it's about to go down. You gotta, please excuse me, there's something flying around the Wrestling with Smarks studios at the undisclosed location here in Tampa, Florida. Anywho, Brad Maddox, he's making his way out to the ring, and you could feel the warm fluid that's running down his leg right now because it's not gonna be good. Did I say Brad was making his way down to the ring? No, Kane was making his way down to the ring. Brad was already in the ring. So as Brad is watching his fate walk down to the ring in fire and brimstone and a red and black mask, he looks like he finally does something that Jerry the King Lawler and myself is screaming at him to do, and that's run, Brad, run, get the heck out of there. So he turns around to Triple H, looks like he's going to beg to him one more time. Triple H, being the ruthless son of a bee that he is, son of a biscuit, punches him right in the mouth, knocks Brad Maddox down to the ground, him in his tight shirt. Kane gets in the ring. He choke slams him, tombstones him, and then Kane's music hits, and you think, oh, well, Brad Maddox, sucks to be him right now. Stephanie gets the mic. She cuts the music, tells them to bring the house lights back up, and says, "Oh, Brad, we haven't finished our conversation. You're fired." She fires my man right after he just got his butt smacked down right in front of the live audience, right in front of America on Memorial Day. You know what I'm saying? Because, he let the Shield be color commentaries on Raw. Color commentators. I mean, personally, I would think the fair thing would be for Triple H to take his frustration out on the Shield, which they're supposed to do a Payback and not on Brad Maddox, but that's just me. Triple H wouldn't do me like that because I put them paws on him. For those who missed the episode last week and who don't know, I was the one-time 7-year reigning, the longest reigning backyard and front yard wrestler in 177th Street and Harvard Avenue history in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm the greatest wrestler to come from that area. I'm the greatest backyard, front yard wrestler you never heard of. And I started this podcast because this is my way of giving back after all the many years of support that I've gotten from countless wrestling fans across the galaxy. Now, back to the Monday Night Raw recap. So after that, it's Rob Van Dam versus Antonio Cesaro, Swiss Superman, with Paul Heyman in his corner, and Bad News Barrett is at ringside. Now the match is going on. Bad News Barrett ends up getting kicked to the jaw by Rob Van Dam. As you know, they have a big match going on, a Payback for the Intercontinental Championship. B&B, as he calls himself, B&B. He manages to distract Rob long enough for Cesaro to hit the German suplex on him. And right after that, Sheamus comes down. He kicks Cesaro right to the grill. So as Cesaro's laid down on the mat, Sheamus grabs his hand and he shakes his hand. And it's a way to show his measure of payback for Cesaro making him look stupid last week. So, all right, I don't want to get ahead of myself. So excited. Raw was pretty decent tonight, I gotta say. Wasn't too bad. So anyway, we got a Summer Rae versus Eva Marie. Now, I thought with what was going on with Total Divas, they was going to play up the whole Summer Rae and Eva Marie feud and beef they've been having on the show or whatever, and instead they ended up Fandango, my bad, bro, Fandango and Layla come out. They start slobbing each other down or whatever. Summer Rae, she gets all upset and hot and bothered, and she ends up getting rolled up from behind by Eva Marie. That'd be interesting to see if they go somewhere with having Summer Rae feud with Eva Marie, assuming that she's going to have a feud with Layla. So after that, there was a backstage segment. I don't know if my voice is changing. If my voice is changing, it's because I'm trying to scroll down on my notes. And my voice changed. I don't know. So anyway, Cody Rhodes and Goldust are in Triple H's office looking for Triple H because they weren't booked on Raw last week and they weren't booked on Raw this week, and they was trying to get some action for the night. Cody ends up calling Batista a skinny jean sellout and called Randy Orton RK Blows, which I thought was pretty funny. And Triple H comes out and makes a match for Evolution versus the Rhodes Brothers later on that evening, and says that match is going to be a special match. Now, you know, when Triple H, the COO, the self-professed King of Kings, says that it's going to be a special match, and he made the match, it's only one word: shenanigans. So keep that in the back of your mind. Now, I don't know. I'm not really sure what was going on with this match. I just know somehow El Torito ended up beating Drew McIntyre in the match. What the front door? Nah, I'm not really going to dignify that with the response, but I'll just, at the end of the match, Hornswoggle and El Torito, aka Little Bull, that's my little homie, my little ninja. Him and Hornswoggle been going at it, so Hornswoggle ends up ripping off the tail of Little Bull, and Little Bull's running around with his hands on his butt. And he runs out of the ring, runs around in a circle, runs around to the back or whatever. And all of this is a big setup for a match at Payback. A pre-show match is going to be a mask versus hair match of El Torito versus Hornswoggle. Hornswoggle wins. El Torito loses the mask. If El Torito wins, Hornswoggle loses his hair. Yeah. So after that, Wyatt family hits the ring. Bray's cutting another one of his promos, and then he starts to turn his sights to Jerry Lawler, because Jerry Lawler, he says, is a friend of John Cena, whatever, this, that, and other. He wants him to get in the ring, and so he sends his flunkies to kind of intimidate, harass them or whatever. He tells JBL to stay in his place or whatever. And JBL, he decides he's not gonna let the Wyatts just try to throw their weight around at the announce table, whatever. And he tries to come at Luke Harper, but it wasn't going down like that. And unfortunately, JBL got a massive clothesline, and he was taken out of the action. And they grabbed the King, and the King got in the ring or whatever. And the Wyatts, they was getting ready to work over the King, and right when they was about to beat the crap out of him, John Cena, the champ, is here, except he's not the champ. The leader of C Nation, he comes flying down to the ring to make the save. He quickly gets jumped by Rowan and Harper. Bray has the King over in the corner, and so they got Cena. They're holding him, and it looks like looks like we're going to watch Cena be forced to watch Jerry the King Lawler get his brains beat in 2 feet in front of him, like a true, like something out of a movie where the bad guy makes the hero watch him eat his daughter's brains right in front of him. Something like that, but not as dramatic, and But so right before they're about to beat the snot out of Lawler, here come the Usos. The Usos come down. They make the save. Cena gets on the mic and he tells Bray that he's crossed some lines and that he's evil and this, that, and the other. So check out the match this Sunday. Payback. Last man standing. Bray Wyatt versus the leader of C Nation. The million-time world heavyweight champion John Cena. I think he's 14-time world overall. Something like that. 14-time world, 11 WWE, 3 world heavyweight. That was so stupid how they had the whole. I mean, the brand extension made sense for about 1.5 years. Then after that, it was just dumb. Anyway, so should have just had it WWE and WCW, Vince. It was simple. Should have just left it like that. 2 different. Anyway, I digress. So after that, Zack Ryder, he makes a cameo appearance on Monday Night Raw. It's not too often that we see Long Island IZ. He comes out waving the American flag a la Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Sergeant Slaughter and the immortal Hulk Hogan have done in the past. Lex Luger. Name your favorite American icon. He comes out waving a flag. He gets the mic. He spits. He says 2 words. And Lana, the ravishing Russian, her music hits. And you know what that means. That means that Rusev is not too far behind. Rusev, as you know, comes out as he usually does when Lana comes out. He beats up Zack Ryder in about 4 seconds, and then he doesn't release his camel clutch. Out comes Big E. Big E gets the better of Rusev and actually ends up getting him out of the ring and stuff and beating him down. Big E is no slouch. He's a big dude. If anybody can show Rusev what it is to taste a butt whooping, is Big E Langston. And so I guess those two are on a collision course. We'll see where that goes. There's some rumors that I don't know how much stock to put in this. I would like to see it myself if it does happen, but who knows. But some rumors that there might be a reforming of the Nation of Domination. So if there is, it would be nice to see Big E a part of that faction. So after that, we have Evolution versus the Rhodes Brothers. It's a regular back and forth match. It's pretty good so far. Cody at the end eats 2 RKOs. Pinfall 1, 2, 3. Evolution theme song hits, and then the ring announcer, he gets on the microphone real quick and he says this match was an elimination match. Remember when I said earlier shenanigans? Well, here it is. It was an elimination match. Cody was eliminated, and so now it was Evolution along with Goldust. So you know what happens. Randy and Batista, they beat the gold and black paint off of Goldust, and then a few minutes of beatdown later, then a Batista bomb. They finish off Goldust and win that match. Afterwards, Bo Dallas comes out and faces Sin Cara or Mystico or Hunico or Loser Cole, Bocce Cole. I don't know. One of them. Bo Dallas faces Sin Cara. He comes out, he cuts a motivational speech / promo. He beats Sin Cara with a bulldog, a running bulldog, which is a variation of a running bulldog. For those who, like myself, are in the brotherhood of professional wrestlers, we know what a bulldog is. He finished it off with the bulldog, and then he cuts a motivational speech at the end. I don't know how long this kid is going to last, but I hope he has a transitional persona or gimmick lined up, because I don't see that lasting long. After seeing it twice, I'm like, ugh. Alright, after that, Stephanie McMahon comes out. She comes out solo this time. She comes out to her little girly theme song. She tells Daniel Bryan he needs to come out and do the right thing and give over the WWE Championship, surrender it, and forfeit it, and go back to being a B-plus player, heal his neck, and just lounge on the mid-card and, get out the way, basically. He comes out, he has on a neck brace, and he says that he probably should. At first he says he probably should fork over the WWE Championship and come back and win it later. And then he says that basically he doesn't want to undo all the good that he did for the fans and the Yes Movement, and basically he doesn't want to make Stephanie and them, he doesn't want to give them the satisfaction of that or whatever. And after he says this, she says that she was prepared, that he would say something like that it was unfortunate, and that if he wasn't going to be willing to fork over the championship, she had an ace in the hole. That ace in the hole was a video clip of Brie putting her hands on her boss, which is a big no. You don't touch your boss. Now, I don't know why Vince didn't fire Stone Cold and The Rock and all the other people that have struck him in the past. He's a lot more forgiving than apparently Stephanie is, and I agree with Stephanie. I don't know what the heck got into the mind of Brie Bella going around touching Stephanie McMahon Hemsley. Now, if you like her decisions or you hate her decisions, you don't strike your boss. You don't touch your boss. So she lets Daniel Bryan know that if he doesn't fork over the championship, then it's a possibility that because she did that, she might consider firing Brie for that infraction, which is a pretty serious infraction. So she left the ring to give Daniel Bryan some time to think about it. And I'm guessing that we're going to be heading into Payback with no resolution on the WWE Championship, which sucks. Just because I hate when the champion, then the title is in limbo like that. It's just, I don't know, if just crown the interim champion, or just have Daniel Bryan be the champion and just have it like Dean Ambrose when he had the U.S. Championship and he didn't defend it over the course of a year. Okay, he's hurt, and just we'll check in on him from time to time or whatever. But whatever, we'll see how it goes. All right, how am I doing on time? We're about 30 minutes in. All right, let's try to speed it up a little bit. Next we have Alicia Fox. She loses to Emma, and Emma and the stupid dance moves or whatever. But even though, unfortunately, Alicia lost, the good part was after the match when she heads to the ringside and she starts starts acting all obnoxious and stuff. She grabs the ring bell, started banging it. She banged the ring bell like 13, 14 times. She's screaming like, I'm not a loser, telling everybody at ringside that they're the losers. What the heck she do? Oh, she gave my dude at ringside, one of the ring crew, I don't know if he's on the camera crew or if he just made sure the cord stayed out or whatever. She gave him the most devastating wedgie that I've ever witnessed in history. She literally grabbed my man's Hanes or Fruit of the Looms or whatever he had on. She grabbed him. She pulled him up. You could see where his butt cheeks separated because the draws was going so far up his backside that it looked like she was stretching his crack further out. It was so bad. She tore the waistline up off of the man's drawers. It was hilarious. And then not only that, but in the process, it's like she dragged him like 3 feet. So not only is Alicia dangerous, not only is she a little bit kooky, but she's strong than a mother, and her wedgie technique is unbelievable. But I digress. So she grabs 2 pops from under the ring. She she shakes them up. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what happens when you shake pop up. And for all the people who are not from the Midwest like myself, from the great city and state of Cleveland, Ohio, I guess you might know them as sodas. What the front door is a soda is beyond me. But from the heartland of America, we call them pops. That's what they are. They're pops. She took 2 pops. She shook them up. She opened them up on the ring crew. She poured them all over herself. She poured them all over her face and her chestises. She was wet, covered in pop. And then she went over to the guy who she gave the super nuclear wedgie to, and she gave him a little smooch on the lips and told him sorry about that. Now, I thought that was classy right there. It doesn't get any classier than a chick covered in pop who just gave you a super wedgie, give you a little smooch on the lips, and telling you she's sorry. Anywho, moving right along. After that, we had Davy Crockett Sandow to battle Adam Rose. What in the world are they doing to Davy Crockett? What in the world are they doing to Damien Sandow? He went from being the uncrowned world heavyweight champion when he won the Money in the Bank. Now he's just being, I don't know what you want to call it. So anyways, he's out to battle Adam Rose. In the middle of the match, Jack Swagger comes out with a giant lemon that he's looked like he has a lemon out there against his will. And, you know, I'm all for holding mascots hostage and torturing mascots. And, you know, just basically having your way with the mascots in any way that doesn't get you in prison. So Jack Swagger come out with Zeb, and Adam Rose is temporarily distracted. Sandow, he tries to capitalize on it, but Rose, he hits his finisher, the party crasher, or the party ender, or the whatever. I forget what it's called. And he defeats Sandow. Him and Swagger get into a little brouhaha afterwards. They're going backwards and forth. Rose ends up getting the better of the exchange, and once he's done beating the crap out of Swagger, he tells him, "No one touches my lemon." That's right, no one touches my lemon. Now, I thought lemons were bad, so I don't know why he would want to be protective over them, but I don't know. He's foreign, so You never know what foreigners are thinking. Anywho, next is Sheamus versus Alberto Del Rio. This was one of those matches that you kind of didn't give a crap about, and at least I didn't. I didn't give a crap about it. I just know Sheamus won. Then after that, Paul Heyman, he gets on the mic. He basically promotes Sheamus versus Cesaro at Payback. That Brock Lesnar ended the streak, and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. So while Heyman's talking, Cesaro comes out of the cut, beats Cesaro down, Sheamus down, beats him down to where he was unconscious. Sheamus was laying motionless in the middle of the ring. And I guess that'll teach Sheamus to just run around kicking people in the head with like he don't have any good sense. My mom always told me that your feet are supposed to stay on the floor, so you can't just go around kicking people in the head. Anywho, so after that we get to the final segment of the evening. Looks like the Shield is really being pushed into the main event here, because it's consecutive Raws we have here where they are involved in the big angle or whatever, in the big part of the show. So they're closing the show here, the contract signing. They come out, they throw all the chairs and the table out of the ring and stuff, and say basically say, let's get down to business or whatever. Evolution theme song hits, line in the sand. They come down to the ring. Triple H says, basically, if they sign that contract, it's going to be the end of the Shield, because it's Evolution is going to obliterate them. You know what I'm saying? It's going to make them cease to exist. Well, Shield, they look at that as just cheap talk, because they signed the contract. Roman Reigns throws it down at the feet of Triple H, who with the Evolution, they're still standing outside the ring. Excuse me. So they sign the contract. Evolution signs the contract, rather. And then they get in the ring. They start to fight, of course, just 3-on-3 this time. Evolution, they don't have all the mid-carders and jobbers come out and have their back like they did a few weeks ago, which I thought was awesome. I mean, shoot. If why fight 3-on-3 when you can fight 14-on-3? I mean, that's just common sense. Anyway, the Shield they're getting the best of Evolution for a while, but Triple H, being the crafty, a million-time champion that he is, his trusty sledgehammer is under the ring. He manages to get it. He manages to smash Roman Reigns with it. They're able to turn the tide of the battle. They take care of Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. They knock them out, get them out of the picture. So it's just the three members of Evolution and Roman Reigns outside of the ring. They set him up for a triple power bomb. They triple power bomb him through the table. And that triple power bomb was so, like, when they did it was like Batista was frustrated when he did that. Like, he was still salty about Cody when Cody Rhodes called him a skinny jeans sellout. That's what it looked like when they power bombed Triple H Roman Reigns through that table. So that Roman Reigns went through the table. The music hits. They join fists together, standing over Roman Reigns in unison. You know what I'm saying? And you got to believe in evolution. At least in the WWE universe wise, I'm not going to get into the other evolution. But so that was Monday Night Raw. I thought it was pretty interesting. I was I got sucked in on a pretty sucked in on most of the segments. The John Cena and Bray Wyatt. I keep being hesitant that it's going to get boring for me, and so far it hasn't. So that was Monday Night Raw. And now we're going to shift gears. We're going to get into the reality show rewind portion of the show, where we look back on Total Divas and Legends House. But before we do that, I want to introduce a very special guest. She was on the show last week. She's my wife. She's my right-hand woman. And she is what adds all the pizzazz to the Wrestling With Smarks podcast. I would like you to put your hands together for the lovely, the talented, my valet, and my wife, Mrs. Vicky Vine.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the show, Miss Vicky.
Thank you.
How you feeling? How you feeling on this Memorial Day evening?
Oh, I feel good. I'm had work off all day, and so I'm free. I feel great.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's always a pleasure to have you sitting 2 inches away from me in the studios of the Wrestling With Smarks podcast at the undisclosed location in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, the pleasure's all mine.
All right, so first show we're going to get into is Legends House. Now, for those who don't follow Legends House, Legends House is WWE's reality show that they have on the WWE network. It comes on every Thursday night at 8 p.m. So you have a house of legends that consists the likes of Tony Atlas, Jimmy Hart, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Hillbilly Jim, Pat Patterson, Mean Gene Okerlund, Roddy Piper. Feel like I'm forgetting. Oh, Howard Finkel, and I think that's it. Might be some more, but anyway, that's the gist of it. So they're all in the house together, and every week they have to do different things to make the show interesting and worth watching or whatever. So this particular week, they did something called LARPing, which is live action role playing, and they had to rescue Ashley, and she's like the host of the show or whatever. She's the one who comes in and gives them all their tasks for the week or whatever. So all right, so let's start with the LARPing, the live action role play. Basically, it's the Legends members versus about 100 other nerds and geeks running around pretending like they have powers and fake battling. So what did you think about that particular segment of Legends House, the front part?
Oh, well, I thought it stuck to the theme of the whole wrestling legend thing, but it was kind of, if you will, kind of lame.
I agree.
You got what's his name? The Mouth running around talking about fear.
What the heck was Jimmy Hart doing, and how the heck did he end up cutting his leg?
Doing too much.
Somehow Jimmy Hart, he's fleeing from the fake battle, which I hope is all part of something to liven up the show or make it interesting. He flees from the fake battle, and he ends up getting this massive scar down his leg. Now, before I make it seem like Jimmy Hart's a coward and a little scary cat, Vicky Vine, you had the pleasure of meeting Jimmy Hart one time, did you not?
Oh yeah, I met him at my job.
What did you think of the Mouth of the South?
I thought he was just an ordinary man. I really didn't know who he was at the time, and now that I see him on a reality show, it's just like he's pretty old. I'll just say that.
Dang. All right, Miss Vicky Vaughn, mincing no words here. And it's just funny that you see how irony happens in life. Here is Vicky Vaughn. She's, for all intents and purposes, she's a casual. For those who don't speak the language of the biz, basically means she's kind of a wrestling fan, but she's not really into it all like that, like myself, being a former backyard legend. And she, of all people, meets Jimmy Hart, the manager of my favorite wrestler of all time. Well, the one-time manager, one of the managers of my favorite wrestler of all time, the immortal Hulk Hogan, the man who redefined professional wrestling for a generation, and it's probably a big reason why myself and all of you listening at home are wrestling fans. But anyway, she of all people gets to meet Jimmy Hart, doesn't get an autograph, doesn't get a picture, barely knows who he is, but c'est la vie, that's life. Alright, so anyway, back to the live action role playing, aka LARPing. So they LARP. Tony Atlas, he ends up killing the evil king or whatever for pretend and make believe, saves Ashley. And then this is where the show got interesting. So for their reward for saving Ashley, they get treated to a spa day. They get massages and facial waxes and pedicures and masks and all that other stuff that chicks love. That I don't know why they feel the need to emasculate men on TV like that, especially legends the caliber of Roddy Piper and Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Tony Atlas and whatnot. It's rather unfortunate to see, and if I had my way, it would be a lot of let's just say I'd be passing out a lot of DDTs if somebody tried to make me get a pedicure on national television. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. They get to the spa, and Mean Gene, I don't know if he's never had a massage before, or it was his first massage in a long time, or if he's just missing Mrs. Okerlund, if there is a Mrs. Okerlund. But he's getting rubbed down, and he begins to say one thing at another that even... I am a man, okay? I am a man. I've been all over the world. I have been to all kinds of parties and clubs, and I've seen all types of women, and I've approached all types of women. But even I had to cringe when Mean Gene asked the masseuse if she ever had a client that wanted to reciprocate because he was enjoying the massage that much. What? What did you think when you heard, oh, Mean Gene, the greatest interviewers in wrestling history? He just basically, he was going for it. What did you think?
Hey, I think he was trying to show everyone that he still has it. That was crazy.
Do you think she wanted what he had?
No. Not at all. That was funny.
Yeah, it was funny, and it was embarrassing. And poor Jimmy Hart, he was paired off with Mean Gene for that, and he couldn't have looked more uncomfortable. So anyway, that's the basic recap of Legends House. Again, it comes on Thursday nights on WWE Network. I suggest you check it out if you're a wrestling fan, or if you were a wrestling fan back in the day like myself. I like it. The LARPing was pretty lame, like Vicky said, but it's a reality show. Now, let's get to Total Divas. Nothing can stop me now. So, this was the first part of a 2-part season finale. Now, in my notes, I basically called it a fake 2-hour. It's part of a fake 2-hour episode because this could have easily been wrapped up in in a single 1 hour episode, in my opinion. I haven't seen the second episode, but from the previews, it looks like it's going to culminate in Brie and Daniel Bryan's wedding, as well as Nikki and John Cena having a chat about her being married in the past, for those who aren't following the show. So anyway, the show opens up, and it starts off with Naomi returning after a month being out of action. She had a broken orbital bone in her eye. Her eye was swollen shut. She couldn't see out of it. It looked horrible. And what happened was Oksana, I don't know what was going through this woman's mind. I don't know if she was jet lagged or if she hit her head on a locker in the back or something, but she injured Naomi when she dropped her knee right onto her eye socket. Just her knee pad was down, and it was even Alicia Fox backstage said it looked stiff. For those who don't know what stiff means, that's tough. But it looked like it hurt. It looked like she did it legit, and I don't know. If I'm Naomi, I'm looking forward to giving Oksana that receipt. Now, for those who don't know what a receipt is, in the world of wrestling, oh man, I'm pulling back the curtain here. I like to try to stay in kayfabe, but I'm going to go behind the veil for a little bit. We as wrestlers, we don't really want to hurt each other to the point of where we can't compete the next night. So a receipt is when someone hits you a little. A receipt is something, it's a retaliation for being hit a little harder than you probably should have been. So basically it's some payback. And so I'm looking forward to seeing Naomi's receipt on Oksana, assuming she hasn't been fired yet. So anyway, there's that. Naomi's back. She's getting ready for WrestleMania season. She's rocking a hideous eye patch, and the Twerkadactyls are back together, and blah blah blah. So the rest of the episode is basically Brie getting ready for a wedding, and last week Nikki had told her family that she was previously married to some fool. Back in the day, they thought it'd be a good idea to get married by Elvis, and they got married and stayed married for about 2.5-3 years before she got a divorce. She never told her family until, for some reason, Total Divas was on the air. And so what's Cena gonna say? How's he gonna react? That was the whole build up of the episode, which it was never even paid off. The payoff is coming next week. But in the previews, they show that the Bella twins' brother go up to Cena and be like, "Oh man, you're taking it real well, considering that Nikki told you she's been married before." So Cena already knows the news, and so now we're waiting to see what happens, what his reaction's going to be when him and Nikki talk. And Daniel Bryan and Brie supposed to be getting married. So what are your thoughts on this week's episode of Total Divas, Vicky Vale?
Oh well, it was fun to watch, and it was kind of awkward that she kept running around telling him that she had been married previously. So it was like, kind of just wanted her to spit it out the whole episode, but it turned out to be a whole bunch of rigmarole. It was weird. Yeah, it
was pretty annoying that, it's like 3 or 4 different segments. Oh, John, I need to tell you something. And then, she pussies out at the last second or whatever. And, Oh, and another thing I forgot. Brie basically told Summer Rae that she, first last week, she wasn't allowed to come to the Divas Bachelorette getaway in Cabo, Mexico. And then this week, she basically tells Summer she can't even come to the wedding. Now, do you think she did the right thing by telling Summer she couldn't come to her wedding due to, I guess, dirty-handed tactics behind the scenes or whatever.
Yeah, I think she did the right thing. She said she doesn't really trust her. She kind of trusts her. She doesn't trust her. So she was backwards and forwards with that. So I think she did the right thing.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was a woman's perspective on Total Divas and if Brie Bella did the right thing. Now, for our next segment, we're going to talk about this week's Throwback Match of the Week. Now, this particular match, it was set up on June 27, 2011. Now, for those who remember that date, that was the date that CM Punk dropped his infamous pipe bomb promo. He called Stephanie McMahon Vince's idiotic daughter, and called Triple H a doofus, and you know, just he sold us the dream on the WWE ice cream bars coming back, and it turned the wrestling industry on its ear. So after that, so basically this particular match started with the pipe bomb, and it ended with CM Punk blowing a kiss to Vince McMahon. This throwback match of the week is the 2011 Money in the Bank match between CM Punk versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. Now, this match had one of the most incredible build-ups going into a high-profile match like itself in a long time. There was the angst of, will CM Punk leave? Will he won't leave? He had just dropped the promo pipe bomb that, just it sparked curiosity and attention from current fans and people who haven't been watching wrestling for a while. So a lot of people really tuned in to see what exactly was going on, because at the time a lot of people thought it was a shoot. It seemed like a shoot, but we would later find out that it was a worked shoot to a certain extent. And it turned out to be very successful, whether it was a work shoot or just a shoot or whatever. It got everybody excited and buzzing for the next few Raws and for the pay-per-view. So fast forward to the match. CM Punk comes out. This is what part I forgot. That Money in the Bank was in Chicago, Illinois, CM Punk's hometown. I'm also forgetting. I'm tripping. So, all right, the pipe bomb starts off the feud or whatever. On the go home show, I'll never forget it. I love this. They're in Boston. So they go from Boston one week to Chicago the next week for the match. Now, for those who don't know, Boston is close to John Cena's hometown. How does this guy get booed in his own hometown? Boston is a tough crowd, man. That's why I'm glad I'm from Cleveland. Cleveland stand up. Anyway, CM Punk tells John Cena that he likes to fancy himself as the underdog. At the time, he was the 10-time world champion. The champ is here. He compares Cena to the Red Sox initially, saying that they like to think they're the underdog, this, that, and the other. But in true CM Punk form, he tells John Cena that he's not the underdog. He's not the upstart. He's not the Boston Red Sox. He's what he hates. He is the New York Yankees. Now, Cena did what any self-respecting Boston Red Sox fan would do. He punched him in the face. And, so that was the last Raw going into the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And that was where it's also earlier in that promo, that's where CM Punk was giving Vince McMahon a hard time, and Vince called him Phil, and it was just a great segment in a great build to a great match. So you fast forward to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. CM Punk comes out. He's sitting in the middle of the ring. You have the entire arena I don't know if there's the Rosemont Horizon or wherever they were, but they were coming unglued. CM Punk. I haven't seen the last time I seen something quite like that is terms of just the atmosphere and Cena having his back against the wall was probably the first ECW One Night Stand where Rob Van Dam captured the WWE Championship and to become the first man to hold the WWE Championship and the ECW Championship at the same time. So it was a lot like that. And I advise you to check out John Cena versus CM Punk. CM Punk, he ends up blowing kiss to Vince McMahon after he wins the WWE Championship, and then he leaves with the belt. And I hate to say it was a great opportunity for the WWE to cash in on a great angle like that, but unfortunately CM Punk only stayed off TV for a week, and he was back building towards his match at SummerSlam. But that's neither here nor there. Check out the match, Throwback Match of the Week. I'll have a link to it on the website, wrestlingwithsmarks.com. And I'll try to include the promos, too, that led up to it. Because the promos lead into the match. It sets the perfect stage. And, you're ready to roll. All right. Now, time for the last and final segment of the Wrestling with Smarks podcast. This is a little segment called How I Would Beat. Now, what this segment is about is every week I'm going to pick a wrestler, either current or past. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with a strategy that any wrestler out there in the industry today can use, and it will guarantee victory. Now, I realize I'm not going to make a lot of friends doing this, and especially since I'm the retired one-time 7-year reigning champion, people would think I should probably stay behind the microphone and mind my own business. Well, to those people I say no. So, for this week's How I Would Beat, the poor unfortunate soul that I've chosen to expose is a man who stands at 6 feet 3 inches. He weighs 286 pounds. He went 33-0 his senior year in high school at wrestling. He is a 2-time NCAA All-American. He won the 2000 NCAA Heavyweight Championship, the 2002 King of the Ring, 2003 Royal Rumble winner, 3-time former WWE champion and the youngest person to ever do it. He's the former UFC champion. And the most impressive feat on this resume, he is the man who ended the Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. He went by the names of the next big thing. He's a Paul Heyman guy, and he is the Pain. This week, the man that I will tell you at home how to beat, the one and only Brock Lesnar. Now, I know that you're thinking to yourself, Brock Lesnar is the beast incarnate. He is a destroyer. He is a wrecking ball. He's big. He's agile. He's strong. He has a great wrestling technique and fundamentals. And he can, as Frank Mir or Randy Couture found out, he's pretty strong at the ground and pound as well. But he has 2 key weaknesses. And I want everyone at home to turn up your volume on your earphones, get closer to your stereo, because we're over an hour, so we're in overtime. Brock has 2 key weaknesses. First, he graduated last in his class in high school. Brock, if you're listening, it's just business, man. It's just business. I got to give the people what they want. So he graduated last in his class in high school. That means he's not too bright. Plant that in the back of your brain, tuck it away, don't forget it. His second weakness is he has cauliflower ear. Now, for those who don't know what cauliflower ear is, you're not alone. I don't really know what it is either. I just know something. It's an injury that happens a lot to wrestlers and mixed martial artists. Anyway, when you get it, it causes your ear to look like a shrimp. And so these are the two things that I would use to my advantage. So me and Brock would start off in the ring. Ding, ding, ding. I would try to keep my distance. 'Cause Brock's bigger than me. He's stronger than me. He's not quite as agile as I would be in my prime. So I would probably have that going for me, but still, it's not something that I would want to put to the test with the likes of Brock Lesnar. I would be forced to keep my distance. Now, in order to apply my strategy, at some point, I'm going to have to get in there and mix it up with them a little bit. Might involve some rope-a-dope. You know, for those who don't know what that is, that's basically a strategy that Muhammad Ali deployed against George Foreman, where basically he took a lot of punishment so he could tire Big George out and lay the boom on him. Only problem with Big Brock is that he's usually in great phenomenal shape, and you take too many bombs from Brock Lesnar, you could be out for the count. So knowing this going into the match, this is going to require some pre-match planning. Pre-match planning. Now, knowing that I'm going to have to keep my distance and then at some point do a little rope-a-dope on Brock Lesnar, what I'm going to do is before the match, I'm going to put a couple shrimps into my wrestling tights. So when we get into the match, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow for Brock to get me into a bear hug. Now, this is a move that he's been known to use in his matches. He's used it on the Big Slow and the Undertaker and things of that nature. So I'm fairly confident that he will attempt the bear hug on me. So when he gets me in the bear hug, I will make sure that I have enough strength reserved so that I can do a double clap to the ear. Now, what this would do, hopefully this will momentarily stun him. As he grabs his ear, he's going to be more sensitive to the cauliflower ear. While he's done that, I'm going to reach in my drawers or my tights. I'm going to pull out a shrimp and I'm going to show it to him. I want to say, "Oh, Brock, look, I got your ear in my hand." Now remember, he's not that bright. Graduated last in his class. "Look, Brock, I got your ear in my hand." I'm going to point to my shrimp in my hand. He's going to think it's his cauliflower ear. Shock is going to set in. He's going to start freaking out and panicking. He's going to start crying like a little girl. And when he's doing that, I'm going to kick him right in the balls. Now, Brock is a good dude. A big dude. I'm sorry. He's a big dude. So I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to kick him right in the balls. I'm going to throw the shrimp at him. And then I'm going to pin him. 1, 2, 3. That was my guaranteed strategy of how I would beat Brock Lesnar. And that was this week's Wrestling with Smarks podcast. You can find the podcast at wrestlingwithsmarks.com. And I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Vicky Vine, before we go, what did you think of my strategy for defeating Brock Lesnar?
Well, I was there, so it all went over well.
See, this is why I love her. But she's ride or die. She whoops butt, and she has no problem with going along with my delusions with me. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the completion of episode 2 of the Wrestling with Smarks podcast. Come check us out with wrestlingwithsmarks.com. Make sure you watch wrestling this week, and I hope you all have a good week.
Bye.